Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Nicole, Russo. Graded stakes action for Thursday's Spa Baby Race. It's the With Anticipation for 2-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field. It's on the inner turf course. $175,000 is the purse for this grade 3. The 2 Spirit Prince is your 3-to-1 morning line favorite. He is still a maiden. He's getting blinkers for the first time, but he ran well in his debut for strong connections.
Yeah, powerful connections indeed. Christophe Clement and Flavien Prat often team up to good success. And as we said, this is one of several 2-year-old races, 2-year-old stakes races that we'll have in these final days of racing of this Saratoga meet.
Keep in mind that the one Gala Brand is cross-entered on Wednesday against fillies in the P.G. Johnson Stakes. I would expect her to go there unless, of course, it rains and she's forced to run in this race against the boys. Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for the With Anticipation. We're expecting a fast pace, and I won't be surprised at all if Mr. Lucas's number 4 Market Street shows speed, stretching out for the first time and switching to turf.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised at all if Spirit Prince shows some additional speed from the inside of these in the 2 with the blinkers added. That being said, I find this setup very interesting because some well-regarded horses, Galabrand and Spirit Prince, are in the 1 and the 2, and the speed is just outside of them. So I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of trips those 2 can work out from the inner posts.
We talked extensively about Gala Brand in our Wednesday Race of the Day / Spa Babies combination with P.G. Johnson. Here she is winning her debut. You don't see many debut winners at 5.5 on the turf win like this. Last on the rail with a long way to come, Nicole. True, the trip worked out. The pace worked out for her. It was fast up front, but she really fired.
She really did, just stormed home, and the 71 Buyer is the highest in this field, even against the Colts. And, it was a restricted race, but I do think she'll get some pace to rally into again as she stretches out.
And although she's by Sprint Stallion Violence, the Damo Lorda was a multiple grade 3 stakes winner going long. It gives some hope that Galabrand can get a little extra ground. The 2 is our morning line favorite, Spirit Prince. Let's watch this Gray's career debut going a mile and a 16th. I thought he got a very good trip overall. Sort of the inside out pocket, angles 3 wide into the stretch under urging. He runs second, but what's most notable is that the odds on winner Noted came back to win a stakes race on dirt at Monmouth. This one faced a good field.
Faced a good field, and Spirit Prince really ran professionally, kind of did everything but win. We mentioned the connections of this horse, Clement, Flavien Prat, and the connections extend to his sire, Cairo Prince, having a very good season with his 2-year-olds, including a dominant stakes winner at Woodbine last weekend.
The number 3 is Wine Collector, who made a successful turf and route debut in his 3rd lifetime start at Colonial. He's a son of a promising first crop sire named Flame Away, and he set a slow but pressured pace in that race at Colonial. Opened up a nice lead at the 3/16 pole and just held sway. This horse is bred to go long. Now he's going to get a major class and pace test.
Definitely a class and pace test, but he earned a 63 Buyer at Colonial. A 63 fits in well with this field. Colonial has a very good 2-year-old program that's really emerging on a national level. Yes, Saratoga is still a step up, but he's also getting a rider upgrade to Ricardo Santana as he comes up here. And he's a really seasoned horse by, as you mentioned, a freshman sire in Flame Away who has quite a few winners to date. He's a versatile son of Scat Daddy, whose sons are so good at stud, especially with their 2-year-olds. No surprise that they tried this horse on dirt first, as both the sire and the dam ran well on dirt, moved to turf. Flame Away, also a stakes performer on that surface, and seems to have found his home there.
He's trained by Laurel-based Rudy Sanchez Salomon. The 4 is Market Street. This colt is very, very fast for Wayne Lucas, who has nothing but good 2-year-olds, it seems, in his barn. Debut winner over the slop, sprinting at Ellis Park. Tried a couple of graded stakes races. Speed last time out in the Saratoga Special. Faced a very impressive winner. A lot of dirt in this pedigree, though.
A lot of dirt in the pedigree, and I wonder if that's where he'll ultimately land. Did win his debut on a sloppy track, as you mentioned, and I think there are a couple of ways to interpret that. Yes, sometimes turf performers run well in the slop, but this horse is also by Street Sense, whose offspring run well in the slop. He was well beaten in the Saratoga Special, but Rhyme Schemes, who has unfortunately since been sidelined for the year, one of the best rated 2-year-olds of the meet. He does get Javier Castellano aboard, and we've said just all summer and can say it again after Travers Stakes Day, Castellano riding as well as he ever has in his career right now.
Trainer Bill Mott has Galabrand in case the PG Johnson is washed off. He also has Get Spooled, Jose Lascano aboard, this son of Hard Spun. Let's watch his debut going a mile and a 16th, and he set a nice rated pace. This is a very professional effort. I like the way he skipped around the 2 turns at Saratoga on the lead. He's game in the stretch, trying hard to win.
Yeah, and I liked that debut effort, especially considering he was bumped hard early. He was checked. Sometimes after encountering some early trouble, speed horses can get a little bit headstrong, but then I thought he rated kindly and was very professional and lasted. The versatile hard spun certainly adds some stamina to kind of a turf sprint oriented female family.
New York bred faces open foes for the first time. The 6 is British Sea, a son of turf champion English Channel, the dam a 2-turn stakes winner on the turf. No surprise, he showed up in a route race in his debut at Ellis Park, showed good speed that day, very game to just miss by a nose. He goes out for Michael Maker, who wins with these kind of horses, and I'd expect him close to the pace.
Absolutely. And, this one is another one who did everything but win on debut. And certainly the English channels, that seems to be all they want to do is go long on the turf. Manny Franco gets aboard this one, and he's coming into this week off a multi-win day on Sunday, another rider who's finishing up the Saratoga meet in fine passion.
The 7 is Nomos. Let's watch his debut. He's a homebred son of Uncle Mo for trainer Todd Pletcher, rating from off the pace in his career debut. He's under a drive here at the 3/16, but this colt seems to have a lot of stamina. Once he gets to the front, he keeps grinding away, and he opens up on this field late.
Yeah, and Todd Pletcher has had a couple of these, 2-year-old. He keeps a string down at Monmouth, and he's had a couple of horses who ran at Monmouth and then came up to run at Saratoga and performed well. And this one came out of that debut, had a bullet work here at Saratoga on the 24th. As always, would encourage you to check out the Clocker reports produced by our colleague Mike Welsh and his team. And this one is a beautiful pedigree. Uncle Mo on top of European family, and the Uncle Mo's just run on everything.
Light 53 Beyer in the debut, but it was a relatively slow-paced race, and we've seen these 2-year-olds improve by leaps and bounds second and third time out from a Beyer standpoint. Don't write him off just because he got a low Beyer in his debut. Let's watch Carson's Run's career debut, going 2 turns at Saratoga on July 29th for Christophe Clement and Dylan Davis, rallying from off the pace, and Carson's Run just puts in a determined stretch challenge.
Yeah, and I look at this horse and you see that sale history there. 35,000 as a newly turned yearling, sold nearly doubled that selling as a yearling, and then $170,000 earlier this year after working on a synthetic track in April at OBS. And this one was just so game in that debut, and I wonder if this horse is just going to continue to improve from that learning experience. He seems like the sort of horse who's just grown and developed throughout his life.
I think that's a very good way to describe Carson's Run's debut. I thought it was a really good learning experience, and he could certainly move forward with Davis aboard. Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 3 with anticipation. I liked Galabrand in the filly race. If she decides to run here in the with anticipation, I like her again, and so do you.
Yeah, and I think this race might be even more wide open than the PG Johnson for fillies. We talked about, we have several maidens in this race. We have several horses who are coming in from other tracks who would need to take a step forward from the Beyer perspective. I think she fits very well against the colts here. She should get some pace to run into. And we frequently talk about how, Bill Mott, he gives his horses time. He's conservative with his 2-year-olds. If she winds up in the starting gate on Thursday as opposed to against her own sex on Wednesday, I think it says something. That being said, if she comes out, the morning line favorite Spirit Prince would be my top selection, and I think he's a deserving favorite, even though he is a maiden. Did everything but win in his debut for a really potent combination of connections, and he's another one from a sire who's just having a phenomenal year with his 2-year-olds.
If Galibrand comes out, it's just very wide open, as Nicole mentioned. I'm going to go with the 238 and multiple race wagers. I guess the 3 Wine Collector would be the best price, shipping in from Colonial and stepping up in class, but is going to have to face a strong class test. 1467 for Nicole, 1328 for me. If Galibrand is out, Nicole goes with the 2 Spirit Prince, and Thursday's Spa Babies, the With Anticipation. Good luck.